R32 GTR Skyline or R35 GTR? Which one you need to buy? Good day guys, it's Jadent here, and before we talk about R32 and R35 GTR, it would be great if you could like and subscribe into our channel so that we could push more car related videos. Now, when I was surfing along TradeMe, it's somewhat like a local version of eBay.com here in New Zealand, I found out that local prices for R32 GTR Skyline and early models of R35 GTR are somewhat like in the same price bracket now. But which one would you consider on buying? Well, I've broken it down into subcategories here in this video, and hopefully after you see this video you can make a decision. First, maintenance. Well, when you talk about the R32 GTR, it's an old car. It's more like 30 years old, and with that age, there's a lot of things to consider in changing. And also you need to consider rust, because when these cars were in Japan, most of the owners don't have the access of, a garage, anything. Let's say most part of Japan has snow. Well, moving on to the R35 GTR, since it's somewhat like a newer chassis, the only thing you need to change are the most wear and tear parts, like the brake and rotors. And also, you need to take a look at the transmission. From what I've learned, the early R35 GTRs have a reputation of a glass-like transmission. So you need to consider that. And talking about rust, I have barely noted any rust on this newer chassis. So, there you go. Moving on. Number 2, excitement. Well, talking about R32 GTR, especially the stock one, it doesn't really give you any excitement at all, apart from if you put it in a car show, it's a timeless design. But that car has a good drivability. It's because it's a manual, it's a stick, and doing heel and toe in the twisties is a very rewarding experience. However, on the R35, well, let's say it has already almost 500 horsepower from factory. So with those kind of horsepower, it's quite enough to do launch control. To enjoy launch control and any activities or any sort of activities that 12 years old guys or gals get excited to. Well, the next one is fuel economy. What fuel economy? These cars were made to perform, and fuel economy is the least of their concern. But if you're concerned about fuel economy, I suggest you find another car. Well, the next would be, what is the goal of your car? Would you like to track the car? Would you like to restore the car? So for the R32, yes, you can track the car, but for safety reasons, or not really for safety, but for peace of mind, you need to change a lot of stuff on it. Like you need to install a baffle sump in the oil pan. It's because of the oil problems of the RB, and you need to change the brakes. And there's a lot of stuff to consider really for being at 30-year-old, like the bushings and stuff like that. But when you talk about restoration, well, the R32 GTR fits in that category perfectly. It's because, well, let's just say with the Nismo Heritage program, they're reintroducing discontinued parts for the R32. R32 GTR owners could restore them. And I don't know, if I see a mint R32 in the roads, it's somewhat like a stress reliever for me. I don't know, you decide on that. And also for the Nismo Heritage program, I think that would be a topic for another video. Now, talking about the R35 for track purposes, I think it's gonna be like a perfect thing for tracking. Now that car again has already almost 500 horsepower from the get-go. It has good brakes. Suspension is so good as well. I think you don't have, it's just again, going back to the transmission when you go tracking. But for restoring an R35 GTR, it's still a new car. I think you really don't need to restore that car, apart from, like, if you own a project car R35. I think you can still buy stuff from Nissan, from, you know, parts, R35 parts from Nissan. Now, next thing is tunability. Now, both R32 and R35 GTRs have a huge aftermarket support, but it comes down to the price. For the R35 GTR, let's just say it's not that price friendly now. When talking about exhaust system, would, I think, fetch you around 5,000, like a basic exhaust system. Well, that's just that figure is just a rough estimate from me, but most of the R35 GTR that I searched online, you know, from RD Japan, their parts tend to be more expensive than the GTR Skyline, you know, older versions. Talking about the R32, I'd say, well, as an owner, well, I don't want to be biased here, but as an owner, if I hear built inline 6 RB36 with a, let's just say, 3.5-inch exhaust, single turbo, it sounds really mental. But for the R35, I mean, the sound is good, but I think it's subjective. But anyway, I hope you have learned something from my video here, and hopefully this would help you decide on which GTR to go. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy your day. Keep safe. Thank you.